This is the future.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigval Green here and welcome to our video. So in this one we're going to eventually put a beat down on both Dark Supergirl as Rise Krypton Stories is drawing to a close and we're finally gonna move on from this. I personally do not like those stories at all. If you guys enjoyed them, let me know in the comments, but Rise Krypton is definitely my least favorite stories. So first up, we're going to quickly dispatch Firestorm here. We're going to use the League of Anarchy team with Harley, EPI, and Arkham Knight Batman. We're going to have a level 7 Beta Club on Harley. We're going to have a level 5 Spear on Arkham Knight Batman. And we're going to have a level 7 Ring, Kryptonite Ring on EPI. Everything except for the Beta Club is going to be just for the passive stats here, so keep that in mind. Over here extending the combo, actually not really because he's not quite at super move yet. We'll have to worry about that one a little bit later. Boy, I don't know if you can see it, but the camera quality is too low, but the mosquito just is bothering me. Just, mate, get out. But yeah, getting back to this, I tagged in Arkham Knight Batman in order to absorb the shock of the super move. And you might be like, Sigval, you could have ghost tapped your way towards the end of the fight and he could have never used super move. I'm gonna tell you, I'll eventually fail that and I'm fully aware of that. So rather than risk it, I'll just go and do that. There we go, Arkham Knight Batman back in, and yeah, we kind of healed from the spear as well, but honestly that doesn't matter. Arkham Knight Batman back in, another special 2. Harley back in there, into a full combo, and I guess this should be enough for finishing Firestorm. No, he's still alive, he's still clinging on to life. Firestorm is one of my favorite bosses because overall he's very chill unless you make a huge mistake. Yeah, there we go, he's down, and we're going to move into Dark Supergirl. And I've made a little bit of a mistake. I have used most of my teams, and at this point the only team that I had left was the Silver Banshee team, and I had a Raven available. And Silver Banshee plus Raven is a thing that you can do, but it's not gonna perform as well as some other teams would. So yeah, that was not necessarily the best option. We could have used Raven as a solo damage dealer, but that's not the best option since, well, she's very strong. She's not as strong without Brainiac, by any means as strong. Like the presence or absence of Brainiac in there can go from her damage being 100 million to her damage being 2 billion damage. So that's very important. So here I put Darkseid, hoping to like kill a Parademon towards the start of the fight and boost damage of Last Step Joker, but I quickly came to realize that that wouldn't be possible. It just takes too much to die, we'd have lost Darkness tags, so yeah, we should have put Silver Bane in there, like that Darkseid was gonna be completely useless. We got Joker in here, and yeah, considering he's got no EPI, he's gonna deal a decent amount of damage. He's hitting 3 mil values with the Battle Club dot, and that's definitely fine. And he'll deal a little bit more when she gets to her super moves, so that Darkseid can die and boost our damage a little bit. And overall, I'm pretty happy with this choice. Obviously, ideally I should have planned my teams better and not ended up in this situation, especially considering the fact that I messed up the Black Manta pip, so Brainiac was pretty much useless. And I could have saved up Brainiac for this gal, but I failed to do that. Have a special one in there. Let's have Joker back in from block tagging. Ring-ish that combo. Yeah, Darkseid in there to die to super move hopefully, but that didn't happen. I rushed the tag in a bit, I'll admit. Joker back in there, with Raven in there to just refresh the darkness in time. Special one is gonna be triggered again. And yeah, the Darkseid bombardment kicks in and allows us to engage with her a little bit earlier, and Darkseid is finally gonna say goodbye here and provide me with some damage boost. Again, it was a mistake to put Darkseid in there. It just took too long for his minions to die, it wouldn't have been worth it. They should have put the Silver Bane and let it die at the start of the fight, and would have had a better outcome. Joker back in there. I didn't use super move throughout this fight because, to be honest, I should have, but I just didn't find any place where I was comfortable with using it. And at this point, with so little time out of the fight left, I don't think it's really worth it to use it at this point, because all it would do would be to dislodge us from our ideal position where we can pretty much combo her infinitely. Raven getting back in there into a special 1. Let's have Joker back in. Special 2. Yeah, as soon as Darkseid died, you can see that our damage skyrocketed a bit, especially in terms of the Beta Club dot damage, with values as high as 3.7 million. So yeah, definitely would have done far more with a Bane in there that would have died early. But yeah, mistake with Raven that I should not repeat, hopefully. But yeah, this is like Joker without entangling Poison Ivy and with Raven in there. Now let's see how it goes for my boy Joker with EPI in there. We're using the same team, but instead of my boy Chunky Darkseid, we're going to have an entangling Poison Ivy. And honestly, overall, we'll maybe eventually kill this fight. But the damage difference is not huge to that extent, because while the dot damage from entangling Poison Ivy is gonna be a huge amount of our damage, we're sadly missing out on Joker's passive that gives him additional damage for killing targets, and that seems to synergize very well with the Beta Club. So while the damage will indeed be bigger, it's not gonna make actually a difference as big as I thought. When I put this team, I was like, it's okay, lads, it's gonna be over in 1 minute compared to the previous one. Like, if we were able to inflict that much damage with the previous one, it's gonna be a walk in the park. But actually not really. It's going at the same pace in terms of the Beta Club dot damage, that being our highest value of damage overall, and his attacks now have dot tied to them, and that's great, that's amazing, but it's not as much of a difference as I thought, and this is a mistake that a lot of people do, and I did myself this time, though it didn't hurt me in any way, shape or form, was underestimating the importance of Joker's passive. A lot of people ask me, well, Joker is not that good in soul raids unless you're using, of course, a Raven with him, and that's it because of his passive, my lads, because his passive gives him so much damage, and he's so good in league raids because you got those 2 targets in the case of Gorilla Grodd that die, and 3 targets in the case of Brainiac that die, plus one of your teammates that's allowed to die. So yeah, unless you take full advantage of his passive, he's not gonna do that well. So that's mainly the problem with Joker outside of league raids and without a Raven. But thankfully, we have a Raven in here, so we're gonna be fine. Special 2 in there, re-engage that combo. And yeah, I could like go for combo interruptions with Joker, and that would indeed be a little bit more optimal, but at this point I'm like, I am guaranteed to kill her, so going for a gameplay that's a little bit more optimal, or a little bit more damage, but risking losing the entire fight, is just not worth it for me at this point. Refreshing the darkness with Raven. Boy, I got scared a bit when I tagged in EPI, to be honest, because I was not 100% sure she'll survive. I believe she would. I was hoping she would. So I think at this point, maybe we could have finished it even if EPI died, because we would have lost the dot damage but gotten a slight buff in Joker's damage. And yeah, over there I messed up, because this is a thing that only people play on an emulator will understand. There's no way for you to tag in their own character on phone. Or maybe it is, I don't know. But on emulator, you got a button for one tagging and a button for the other tagging, and sometimes they switch in between the middle of the fight, and you should expect that and see that coming, but I failed to see it here. But yeah, with all that out of the way, Dark Supergirl is finally down. She was not such a pain in the ass, and on the other account where I didn't have Beta Club and Raven, she was not such a pain in the ass either. Except for some particular instances where she stunned me for like 40 seconds. But yeah, the reward, lads. Absolute garbage. Poor Super... boy, she's definitely a top 10 worst characters in the game. Amulet of Might, I have no use for it. I'll gladly take the reforges, even though it's not a huge amount. But yeah, I don't know, man. I still think the odds for something good in rewards are terrible, and all my rewards are gonna pretty much testify to this. But yeah, goodbye!
This is the future.